We now continue with ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Aqueduct in April seldom resembles Paris in the spring. Weather for the Wood Memorial normally features a chill wind pushing the horses down the backstretch, and that same wind slowing them down as they approach the finish. And so it is again today as we bring you the Wood Memorial Invitational presented by Kawasaki. Well, hello, I'm Jim McKay, and it's just 14 days before the Kentucky Derby. The horses are preparing in 3 foreign countries and 6 different states. The favorite, Arazi, is grazing in the fields of France. He'll race no more until Derby Day. Dr. Devious, the English runner, finished second in a race over there this week, but still is headed for Kentucky a week from tomorrow on the same plane as Arazi. And so is the Irish contender, Thayer. He finished third in a different race on the same card with Dr. Devious. And today here in the Wood Memorial Invitational, yet another foreign race colt tries to win his way to Churchill Downs. He is Rokeby from the European stable of Virginian Paul Mellon. So there could be an unprecedented 4 foreign starters in this year's Kentucky Derby. But Rokeby is not the favorite here at Aqueduct. There are 12 starters, including a filly, in a field that does not have a dominant figure, really. That's why so many owners have put their horses in the race figuring that, well, anybody has a chance. Snappy Landing, the winner of almost $300,000, is the most familiar name, and we'll check the odds in just a minute. But first, the conditions of the race. It is the Wood Memorial Invitational at 1 1/8 miles. $500,000 is the purse. The track is listed as good, which means wetter than fast and not quite as wet as slow. The temperature, a brisk chilly, as I said, 45 degrees, and the wind feels a little more than 11 miles per hour. Here are the odds. Thunder Rumble, who would have been one of the favorites. The New York bred was scratched this morning. He came down with a fever. West by West at 29 to 1. Snappy Landing is at 2 to 1 now. Pie in Your Eye, 22 to 1. Devil His Due at 5 to 2. So Snappy Landing is a slight favorite. Careful Gesture at 10 to 1. Rokeby at 6 to 1. Chief Speaker at 8 to 1. Shirley 6, 45 to 1. And the rest of the field, Jackson Port at 75 to 1, Best Decorated 12 to 1, Goldwater at 6 to 1, considerable support there, and Queen of Triumph, the filly, at 46 to 1. Which brings us to Charles E. Canty at an expert view of today's wide open race. I asked you last week what would be the key to that race. Same question this week.
Well, this week it's the off-track, Jim. And speed is always dangerous here at Aqueduct, but particularly when it's wet. And like Pistols and Roses in last week's Bluegrass, we again have a key speed horse on the extreme outside. Goldwater in post 12 has got to go straight for the lead. How fast he carries them will determine the effectiveness of the closers like Snappy Landing. He's a consistent colt. He's the leading money winner in the field. But he had major traffic problems when 4th in the Jim Beam last out. Today, he wears the set of blinkers you see there, and he gets a brand new rider named Kent DeSormo. Weight is also important today. The Wood Memorial is the only prep where colts carry their full Derby weight of 126 pounds. For most of them, it's a drastic increase. And believe me, Jim, it'll separate the men from the boys.
It sure can do that. Well, calling the race, as always, will be Dave Johnson. And right now, here's Dave with a look at the contenders.
Rarely does a horse, unraced at 2, show up on the trail to the Kentucky Derby. But Devil His Due on the outside, dismissed at 10 to 1 in the Gotham Mile, turned in this dramatic front-running effort, which ended in a rare dead heat with 3 to 5 shot Lure, surprising even his trainer Alan Jerkins, whose expert conditioning earned him a spot in racing's Hall of Fame.
There hasn't been a Derby win in a long time that hasn't won as a 2-year-old. In fact, I don't think in this century. You know, but there's always a first time for everything.
Careful Gesture, long striding, long-winded, racehorse workhorse, bred by Cecilia Dixon, owned and trained by her husband Ray, started a remarkable 14 times as a 2-year-old, and 5 times already this year, including this off-the-pace tally in the Tampa Bay Derby. The very consistent Best Decorated has improved steadily and will try 9 furlongs for the first time. Cot Campbell, Dogwood Stable's managing partner who brought a summer squall, hopes the colt can duplicate this effort, his 92 debut here at Aqueduct, where his tactical speed kept him close and the class and courage helped him hold off the late run of Snappy Landing. And knock on wood, those I think will be the major players in today's Wood Memorial. Best Decorated, though, has drawn a poor post position on the outside. He'll have to be pushed early. But Snappy Landing has a new jockey, and he had a ton of trouble last out. If he stays out of trouble, he'll be right there. If I had to pick one, bigger price, Best Decorated.
Okay, you heard it from Dave, best decorator, but here is a look at Rokeby today wearing the silks that Paul Mellon uses for racing in England, Ireland, and the continent. Now, they're very different from the Mellon silks that we're accustomed to seeing on American race courses. They're the silks in the jockey's room, and there are the normal American silks of the Mellon stable. So if you're a fan of that team, don't be confused by the colors. You won't see these silks today. And there is Paul Mellon on the right, the 84-year-old owner who won this race 28 years ago with Quadrangle. Mr. Mellon's owned 6 champions, 3 horses of the year, 2 in the United States and 1 in England, and that's his European trainer, Ian Balding, with him. A favorite figure is here with us today, a man who has ridden to victory in 3 Kentucky Derbies and 4 Wood Memorials, the most of any active jockey. In fact, only Eddie Arcaro, the master, has won more Woods, 9 of them in all. I'm talking about Angel Cordero Jr., whose career as a rider may have come to an end after a serious accident this winter at Aqueduct. Here he is winning a division of the Wood on Flip Sal. The fans of New York have loved him sometimes, abused him at others in his 30-year career. Here he is setting a stakes record with Bold Forbes that would last for a dozen years. And this was his last Wood victory aboard Air Forbes 1. He won his first Kentucky Derby in 1974 with Cannonade. Later, he rode the speedballs Bold Forbes and Spendabuck as they took the run for the Roses. Angel Cordero is, in short, one of the greatest jockeys of all time, and one of the most controversial. There have been long debates over his riding style. Is it rough riding or just race riding? You can hear either opinion at the track or in the papers. But Cordero the controversial is also Cordero the family man, father of 5. And Angel is with us here today. Angel, you've won more than 7,000 races. That's third only to Bill Shoemaker and Pinkai. In total purses, $164 million, second only to Pinkai himself. Is that great career about to come to an end? Are you going to ride anymore or not?
Well, Jim, I have an appointment with my doctor at the end of this month, and I should know a little more about it. Right now, it's half and half. I feel much better. I gained some weight, but I still are in the slow process of recuperation.
I know you had a terrible time, 2 months in the hospital, most have been in considerable pain. Supposing you don't ride again, these people here, these railbirds, have cheered you to the heavens, and they have jeered you to the depths in the 30 years that you've been riding here. Will you miss these characters at all if you don't ride?
Well, I hope I can come back and ride, but if I don't ride anymore, I think they're going to be seeing me around in Aqueduct. If I don't happen to come back and ride anymore, I'll probably go back and train horses. So I'm going to wait to the end of this month. I'm going to see what happens. Mother Nature will decide. Okay, Angel. Good luck to you in every way. But before you go, who do you like in the race? Well, I like 2 horses. I like Devil His Due because Jerkin is out today, and I like Careful Gesture. So I don't know which one to pick of the 2. You better make up your mind. You don't have very long. Thanks very much. Angel Cordero Jr. Well, there it is, the starting gate. They'll be in when we come back, just about. Back at Aqueduct, a final look at the odds. Thunder Rumble, remember, has been scratched. West by West at 29-1. And you see Snappy Landing and Devil Is Due listed as joint favorites, however. About $2,000 more has been bet to win on Snappy Landing than on Devil Is Due. Pie in Your Eye at 26-1. Careful Gesture at 10-1. Rokeby at 6-1 now. Chief Speaker at 8-1, 46-1 on Shirley 6, Jacksonport, the long shot at 90-1, Best Decorated 11-1, could be a bit of an overlay there, Goldwater at 5-1, and Queen of Triumph at 50-1. Here is Goldwater, by the way. He's fleet, isn't he?
He is, Jim, but he's got to break from that disadvantageous post position, and braking alertly is something he's had a problem with once or twice in his life, but he does like this track. And there's Chief Speaker making only his 4th career start. Now, he was second in the Tampa Bay Derby. He's a promising colt. This is a pretty tough assignment today. And there's the only filly in the field, Queen of Triumph. She is the only horse in the race to have won at 1 1/8, and she did it over an off track.
And which one do you like?
I think the Giant Killer is always tough. I'm going to give the Devil His Due, but I like to see Careful Gesture closing at 10-1. He'll be on the board.
I like a long shot. I give you your choice of Goldwater or Pie in Your Eye. Time to go upstairs now to Dave Johnson.
And there goes Careful Gesture into line. Rokeby gets some weight off today. Carried 133 pounds last out. No other horse in this race has even carried 126, which they carry, except for the filly carrying 121. Now, Chief Speaker is a bad gate horse. He's the most lightly raced in the field, and he's in line. That's Jose Santos aboard. Here's Shirley 6. Rick Wilson. Jacksonport is next. Best Decorated is the 11 horse. Chris Antley, who rides Best Decorated, won this race with private terms. Talk about 6 degrees of separation. Goldwater is owned by William T. Young, whose son-in-law is Francois Bouton, who trains Arazi. The only filly in the race, Queen of Triumph, is the only one behind the gate. We're all set and ready for the start. Mile and an eighth, all 3-year-olds. The Wood Memorial, 1992. And they're off. And West by West was off a step slowly. Devil His Due takes the early lead. Surely 6 from between horses into second position. And on the outside, there goes Goldwater, hustled up, and Goldwater scoots to the rail and takes command. In front by 2 lengths. And then comes Devil His Due in the black cap into the second spot. Surely 6 is racing third. Snappy Landing up closer than usual, fourth along the inside and gaining. Best Decorated is 5th on the outside. Pie in Your Eye is 6th between horses. West by West moving through along the inside to be 7th. The filly Queen of Triumph on the outside is 8th. Chief Speaker is 9th. Careful Gesture is 10th. Then comes Rokeby between horses 11th, and at the back of the pack, Jacksonport is the trailer. The dozen 3-year-olds move down the backstretch after reaching the half in 47. And it's Goldwater in front by a tight length, being pursued by Devil His Due on the outside. Snappy Landing is now in third position. Pie in Your Eye is 4th along the inside, and Best Decorated is closing stoutly, 3 off the rail. Between horses, Surely 6 is next. Then comes Queen of Triumph and West by West. Back on the front end. Goldwater at the rail, but now Devil His Due with Mike Smith on the outside up to challenge, and Snappy Landing is third at this point off the rail. And then between horses, here comes Best Decorated in 4th. They straighten away in the lane. Devil His Due takes command and draws clear by 2.5 lengths. Snappy Landing is 2nd. Rokeby on the far outside is closing gamely. West by West is next, and down the stretch they come. It's Devil His Due in front. West by West between horses with a late move. Rokeby on the outside and Snappy Landing. Devil His Due wins it by 1 length. West by West finished 2nd, and there's a tight photograph between Rokeby and Snappy Landing for the show spot. The final time, 1 minute and 49 1/5 seconds. Devil His Due with Mike Smith wins the Wood.
Well, nice call, Charlie. Devil His Due, the unofficial winner of the 1992 Wood Memorial Invitational. And pretty good performance by a horse picking up, what, 11, 12 pounds in this race. First time around 2 turns for him.
He turned stickers and had a good grip on this track. There's Snappy Landing. They added blinkers to his equipment for the first time. He was up much closer than usual. It may have cost him some of his closing punch. He usually comes from further out of it. But a big race by Devil His Due. He stalked Goldwater. There you see the fractions. They were on a good, honest, steady pace, 49 1, a good 1 1/8. I think this is what Alan Jerkins would like to see if he's going to the Kentucky Derby. It was a good performance.
It sure was. Remember, he dead heated with Lure to win the Gotham here. And let's have a look at the far turn.
Well, there you see Goldwater, as predicted. He had to hustle out of the gate. He had the lead. Devil His Due on the outside there had been stalking him all the way, pressuring him. There's Snappy Landing in the white blinkers beginning to give way. And the rest of them haven't really unleashed a run yet. Gone West. West by West hadn't started his run. And right here, it looks like it's pretty much over. This is a good race. He hooked up with Lure. They ran some fast fractions in the Gotham, and they kept on running those colts. The wind that day distorted it. Devil His Due is a nice horse who's moving forward very quickly at the right time. But look at this big run by West by West. That was good.
And again, the unofficial order of finish: Devil His Due, West by West, and Rokeby just over from England. The time again, 1:49 1, good time. Back at Aqueduct, the results are still unofficial, but it's Devil His Due. There's no objection. West by West 2nd. 3rd was Rokeby, the horse just over from England. The time 1:49 1/5 for the key to victory now. Here's Dave Johnson.
Well, let's take a look at the start to begin with. And won't you watch the 12-horse Goldwater and the eventual winner, Devil His Due, starting from the 12 and 5 holes respectively. What happens to Goldwater is he gets bumped from both sides at the start, whereas Devil His Due quickly scoots to the inside. Attending the fractions early, Goldwater was pressed. Bad post position, and as they straighten away in the stretch, Goldwater was on the rail and fading, whereas Devil His Due was striding out. And as Charles C. said, snappy landing with those blinkers may have reduced his late kick. Watch Rokeby on the outside in the black cap, who's 5th and now 4th, and between horses west by west with Jean-Luc Samin making a big move. Was very impressed by Rokeby today, but more impressed by Devil His Due, Jim.
All right, Dave. Thank you very much. We're here now with trainer Alan Jerkins and jockey Mike Smith. Alan, for those who are interested in history, of course, no horse has ever won the Gotham in the Wood and gone on to win the Derby. No horse unraced as a 2-year-old has won since Apollo in 1888. But that's only history. That isn't racing on the racetrack today, is it?
Well, we don't know for sure if we're going to go to the Derby either.
That was my next question.
We're just happy with the way the horse has come along, and it proves that he's one of the big boys, and that's pretty good for us.
When will you decide them?
Well, naturally, we'll discuss it. We're going to enjoy this for a couple of days, and then we can, see what we have to do, see how the horse pulls up, see how sound he is, see how he eats, and then we'll see what happens.
But there is a serious possibility you won't go?
Well, I think anybody that wins the Wood will have it on his mind, Yeah.
Okay, congratulations again. Mike Smith, congratulations to you, your second win in the Wood.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
There he is coming down the stretch.
Well,
and you.
He really did everything much on his own. I kept him busy the last part just because he got to looking at some of the cameras down by the rail. But all in all, the way he ran, like if Alan says, if he comes out of the race good, he's definitely got to be one of the contenders anyway.
Those cameras he was looking at were not ours. They're the still cameras,
yeah,
right?
That's it. I'm not blaming you, Jim. I'm just saying he was kind of just looking around just a bit at the end. He has a tendency just to loaf a little when he makes the lead so easy, and which he did. And I just kept him busy, and he just went right about his business after that.
Well, Mike, your career has been doing nothing but going straight up. Keep it going.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Congratulations to you and Alan Jerkins once again.
Nice.
Let's take a look now at the prices, because they are available at this point. Devil Is Due, $760, $540, and $460. West by West, the long shot, $22.20 and $13.80. Rokeby, $6. The Exacta, $209.80. The Triple, $1,736. Those then are the official results of the Wood Memorial Invitational. So, quite an afternoon.